Hello, friends, and welcome to this special edition of Strictly Sports. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. Tonight, we are going to preview the NHL's conference finals. Following that, we will have our 2020 NFL season preview, and then in our main event, we will preview the opening Thursday night game that goes down this Thursday night, as the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs will open up defense of their title against the Houston Texans. But right now, let's get into the conference finals of the NHL, and we're going to start it off with the Western Conference Finals. The number 1 seed, the Vegas Golden Knights, squaring off against the number 3 seed, the Dallas Stars. This series currently underway. 2 games have been played, and the series is even at a game apiece. Dallas Stars winning game 1 by a score of 1-0 on Sunday night. And then just moments ago, the Vegas Golden Knights evened the series at 1 game apiece with a 3-0 win here tonight. So it's a 1-all series. So let's get down to it. From a group of 12 Western Conference teams to enter the Edmonton bubble, we are now down to 2. And there can be only one to represent the West in the Stanley Cup Finals. The 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs have reached the Final Four, and in the West, that has yielded a matchup between the number 1 seeded Vegas Golden Knights and the number 3 Dallas Stars. For the Stars, a return to the final would be 20 years in the making, while for the Knights, it's been 2 years in the making. The 2 teams split the regular season series 1-1, and Vegas won their round-robin postseason matchup 5-3. So we're going to address what we learned in the conference semifinals, which the Vegas Golden Knights, both teams went 7 games. Vegas outlasting an upstart Vancouver Canucks team, while the Dallas Stars, with a bit of an upset against one of the heavy favorites in the West, the Colorado Avalanche. So, all right. I do apologize. I don't know what is going on here. This is not loading. I have no idea why. I mean, great time to have a difficulty here. All right, hang on. Okay, here we go. What we learned in the conference semifinal round, that the Stars can put the puck in the net. In 3 of their 4 wins against the Calgary Flames in the quarterfinals, the Stars scored 5 or more goals. Against the Colorado Avalanche, whom they defeated in 7 games, the Stars scored 5 goals in each of their wins, and another 8 goals combined in their 3 losses. Given some of the tweaks they've made since the pause, there's enough evidence here to call this a trend for what had been one of the NHL's quietest offenses. They were 26th in the regular season in goals per game at 2.58. They're 4th in the postseason at 3.31. The Golden Knights were pushed to 7 games by the Vancouver Canucks thanks to the superhuman goaltending of Thatcher Demko in the last 3 games of the series. But in the end, the Knights were still the Knights, holding a lopsided advantage in shot attempts in each game, putting a damper on the Canucks' explosive offensive, limiting them to 2 goals in the last 2 games of the series, and showing off their unparalleled depth in the process. In first line, I give the advantage to Vegas. The Stars' top line of Tyler Seguin, centering Alexander Radulov and Jamie Benn, has been positive on the possession side, and had an expected goals rate of 3.12 per 60 minutes and 2.71 expected goals against. Ben has been good with 5 goals and 8 assists. Radulov has 7 goals, including 2 in Game 7. Seguin has been the most inconsistent of the 3, which has 2 goals and 5 assists in 15 postseason games. It's hard to identify which Vegas line is the first line. They have 2 candidates, whomever Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault are playing with, and whomever Max Pacioretty and Mark Stone are playing with. For argument's sake, I'll go with the line that was reunited in Game 7. Smith, Marchessault, and William Karlsson. They've earned 70% of the on-ice shot attempts and have an expected goals rate of 3.66 per 60 minutes and 1.76 goals against. Stars' top line can be great. The Knights' top lines are consistently great. Advantage Vegas. Forward depth, again, I go with Vegas. Stone and Pacioretty have seen time with Karlsson and Chandler Stevenson this postseason. Game 7 saw the Knights put veteran Paul Stastny alongside Nicholas Roy and Alex Tuch, their leading playoff goal scorer, with 8 tallies. Though Ryan Reeves missed Game 1 due to suspension for an illegal check to the head, he makes up a bruising and effective fourth line with William Carrier and Tomas Nosek. For the Stars, their leading goal scorers, rookie Dennis Gurianov and veteran Joe Pavelski, each with 8 goals, are on the same line they usually skate with Matthias Janmark. Rookie Hintz, Jason Dickinson, and Corey Perry have held their own defensively, even if they haven't generated much at 5-on-5. Perry has been doing some Corey Perry things in the playoffs, 19 penalty minutes. Blake Como and Radek Faksa had skated with Andrew Cogliano for most of the postseason. Then Cogliano was unfit to play in Game 7, and rookie Joel Kiviranta, his replacement, tallied a hat trick that included the in overtime. Coach Rick Bowness confirmed Kiviranta was in for Game 1. We already know that, but Vegas has that advantage. Defense, I'm going to give this to Dallas. One of the most significant tactical changes for the Stars was the decision to activate their defensemen more offensively. The result, Miro Heiskanen is their leading scorer with 21 points, 13 of them coming at even strength. And John Klingberg has 12 points, 9 of them at evens. Both are paired with dependable defensive defensemen in Jamie Oleksiak and Esa Lindell, respectively. Andrej Sekera has been a mainstay on the third pairing with Taylor Fedun and Joel Hanley in the mix. The Knights also have a defenseman as their leading scorer in Shea Theodore with 16 points in 15 games, while Coach Peter DeBoer has moved around his forward line. His defensive pairings have been consistent. Theodore with Alec Martinez, Braden McNabb with Nate Schmidt, and impressive rookie Zach Whitecloud with Nick Holden. Goaltending, Vegas. The Knights have had to deal with the external scrutiny of their goaltending situation. It's not every postseason that an agent posts an image of his client being stabbed in the back with the coach's sword, as did Alan Walsh, the agent for Marc-Andre Fleury. But DeBoer has cemented Robin Lehner as his starter with 12 appearances. Lehner has responded with a .918 save percentage and a .199 goals against. After a horrible round-robin appearance, Fleury bounced back with a .931 save percentage in games against Chicago and Vancouver. But after DeBoer ignored the social media stabbing and Lehner pitched the shutout in Game 7, the crease belongs to the former Blackhawk. Anton Khudobin was thrust into the starter's gig because Ben Bishop has been unfit to play for most of the postseason. Bishop tried to play in Game 5 of the Colorado series, but was pulled in the first period after giving up 4 goals on 19 shots. Khudobin has a .909 save percentage and a .294 goals against, but has come through when needed. Coaching, I got to give the edge to Vegas. Rick Bowness is one of the best stories of the postseason. The 65-year-old coach, the oldest in the league, took over on an emergency interim basis in December after the team fired coach Jim Montgomery for personal conduct violations. This is only his second postseason appearance and the second time he has reached the conference finals. The last time was with the 1991-1992 Boston Bruins. DeBoer is coaching his third conference finalist, having reached the Stanley Cup final with the New Jersey Devils in 2012 and San Jose Sharks in 2016. In his first seasons with both teams, he took over the Knights in January after being fired by San Jose earlier in the season. He makes tough, sometimes unpopular decisions, but he gets results. He's the first coach in NHL history to be 5-0 in Game 7s. Vegas advantage. Special teams, Vegas. The Knights convert on 20.5% of their power plays and are 87.8% on the penalty kill. The Stars convert 22.6% of their power plays and are 82.3% on the kill. Dallas averages more power plays a game, 331, than Vegas, 293. The Stars are also shorthanded more per game, 388 times, than the Knights, 327. That's Vegas. My prediction, I am going with the Vegas Golden Knights to win this series in 6 games. The Stars' offense is one of the biggest surprises of the postseason, but the Knights are not the injury-devastated Avalanche, who were down to their third-string goalie. Vegas is one of the most complete teams in the postseason, playing a 200-foot game and proving they have the ability to beat you in a variety of ways. They'll advance to their second Stanley Cup final in their 3-year existence with a win over the Dallas Stars, who will, without question, be a tough out. Vegas Golden Knights win the Clarence Campbell Bowl in 6 games. Now I'm going to hand the mic over to the Gary Thorne and the Doc Emmerich of our crew, Good Old MF Michael Fletcher. So, Doc, Vegas, Dallas, is Vegas going to the finals for the second time in 3 years, or do you have Dallas going to their first final in 20 years?
This is actually a really tough series to call. I kind of feel like right now I gotta go with Vegas because I just think that they got the better team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas does win it all. But I'm gonna go with Vegas as well. I'm gonna say Vegas in 6. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, yeah, this is a tough series to call. I like what I've seen from the Dallas Stars in the playoffs, but the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, everything I like about them with their special teams, the goaltending, um, everything I like about them. So it's a tough one, but I too am going to go with the Vegas Golden Knights to win the Western Conference Finals. I'm going to say it's going to go. I'm going to say it's going to go the distance. I think it's going to go 7 games. I think the Dallas Stars are going to give them some fits, but I think in the end, Vegas is the much better team. The Vegas Golden Knights will go to their second Stanley Cup Finals in 3 years. It's hard to believe that since this is only their third year in the NHL, and there's a chance that they could go to their second Stanley Cup Finals in 3 years. So Vegas Golden Knights win the series. Florio, let's move on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference Finals matchup features the number 2 seed, the Tampa Bay Lightning, squaring off against the number 6 seed, the New York Islanders. Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round made quick work of Bullock's Bruins. Sorry to bring it up, Bullock, but we gotta address the facts here. Tampa Bay knocked off Bullock's Boston Bruins in 5 games, whereas the New York Islanders surviving and winning and pulling a big upset over the top-seeded Philadelphia Flyers, 7-game series win. For Tampa Bay, it would be their first Stanley Cup final appearance if they get it in 5 years. They last got there in 2015, but they lost in 6 games to our other dear friend Matt Ward and his Chicago Blackhawks that year. For the New York Islanders, if they were to win, it would be their first finals appearance since 1984, when they had made their 5th and final consecutive finals appearance. You remember, from 1980 to 83, all 4 of those years, the Islanders won the Stanley Cup 4 consecutive years. And then in 84, they lost to the Edmonton Oilers. And then, of course, the Edmonton Oilers would begin their dynasty with that unbelievable super team. So nothing more to say. MF, it's only fitting we start with you. This is our series. Tampa Bay last night. Oh, my goodness. You want to talk about bully hockey, man. 8-2. 8-2 beatdown. Unless the Islanders can wake up in game 2, I don't see how Tampa Bay cannot make their first final appearance in 5 years.
Yeah, no, this is an easy call for me as well. Tampa's just too superior. Offensively, they're too powerful. Defensively, they're too powerful. Goaltending, I gotta go with Tampa as well. This is a clean sweep across the board. I don't think there's one area where the Islanders wins. And even in your little rundown that you normally do, Florio, I don't see it. I do not see any rundown where they're gonna lose this game. So no, I'm honest about this. I'm gonna say it. I got the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the series, advancing to the Stanley Cup final, taking home the Prince of Wales trophy. Final score or series in 5 is what I got. I got Tampa winning in 5 games. So, Anthony, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I just don't see any clear advantages for the New York Islanders. I mean, they're going up against a very talented, very good Tampa Bay Lightning team. I mean, my team certainly found out the hard way. I mean, yeah, they don't have Stamkos for this series, but the goaltending is really good. I mean, everything about them it just impresses. I mean, the Islanders, they're pretty lucky to get here. I just don't see any chance whatsoever for them to win this series. I know, Fletch, you said them in 5 games, but I think you're being too generous there. I'm breaking out the brooms. It's going to be a 4-game sweep as far as I'm concerned. there's just no way the New York Islanders can match up with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Lightning win the series, clean sweep. Florida, it's yours.
Despite being one of the NHL's most fearsome juggernauts of the past several years, the Tampa Bay Lightning have been to only one Stanley Cup final in the past 10. That was 2015. They're hoping the tweaks made after last year's debacle against the Columbus Blue Jackets can push them over the top. Meanwhile, the New York Islanders have taken steps forward in the second campaign under Barry Trotz, and while maintaining their stout defensive structure, they have amped up the scoring. The Isles won 2 of 3 regular season contests between the teams, outscoring the Lightning 11-4 in the aggregate, but all of that was months ago. Who will win the series this September? What we learned in the second round, the Islanders are making their first trip to the Eastern Conference Finals since 1993, when they were defeated by the Montreal Canadiens, who went on to win the Cup, of course, that year. The same year, the Lightning just wrapped up their first year as a franchise, finishing last in the Norris division with 53 points. Yeah, it's been a while. Barry Trotz's group is known for its team-oriented defense, 1.94 goals allowed per game these playoffs, and goaltending depth. Semyon Varlamov and Thomas Greiss are both extremely capable. But the Islanders' biggest strength is the ability to close out games. They've outscored opponents 22-7 in the third period, and while the defense gets much of the love, and rightfully so, the offense coming alive is a huge storyline. The Islanders are the highest scoring team remaining in the playoffs, averaging 3.38 goals a game. That's a significant uptick from their 2.78 rate in the regular season, which ranks 22nd in the NHL. The Lightning are the only team in the Final Four with a full week off, thanks to its dismantling of the President's Trophy-winning Boston Bruins in 5 games. The rest is much needed, considering Tampa Bay played 9 overtimes through its first 2 rounds, totaling 134 minutes and 29 seconds. The time off has given star Nikita Kucherov, who was injured in Game 5, time to recover, as he's back skating with the team and should be good to go for the series. It won't be quite enough for Steven Stamkos, who has already been ruled out for this series. Tampa Bay made several personnel changes this season to give the team more physicality and grit, which has paid off thus far, and it feels fitting that to reach the Stanley Cup Finals, they must once again face their playoff Achilles heel, a stingy, structured defensive team, not unlike the Blue Jackets of last year. In the first line, advantage Tampa Bay. New York's top trio of Jordan Eberle, Matthew Barzal, and Anders Lee are buzzing, though they didn't contribute much offensively in the Game 7 win over the Flyers. Coach Barry Trotz called it Barzal's best game as a pro. In 16 games, they've scored only 9 goals, but they've also been on the ice for only 4 goals against, outshooting opponents 141-88. They have an expected goal percentage of 63.91. Tampa Bay has been rolling out Andre Palat, Braden Point, and Kucherov, who are just as dominant and have slightly better numbers than the Isles' top trio. Through 13 games, Tampa Bay's top group has scored 16 goals, and they've been on the ice for 6 against, outshooting opponents 138-78. They have an expected goal percentage of 70.70. The icing, Braden Point already has 2 overtime game winners on his 2020 playoff resume. Forward depth, again, advantage Tampa. New York's biggest breakout of the postseason is their second line of Anthony Beauvillier with Josh Bailey and Brock Nelson, the 2 of whom are some of the longest tenured Islanders. The trio have been on the ice for 15 goals for and just 7 against, with an expected goals for percentage of 65.38. The Isles' move to get Jean-Gabriel Pageau at the trade deadline is paying off dividends. He's been a huge boost to shore up center depth on the third line. However, there's significant drop-off with the rest of the bottom 6, especially compared to the Lightning. Tampa Bay's second line of Anthony Cirelli, Alex Killorn, and Tyler Johnson hasn't been as productive offensively as I predicted, but the third line, featuring trade deadline acquisitions Blake Coleman and Barclay Goodrow, has been dominant, 77.78 goals for percentage, and the grit Julien Brisebois has injected to this team, including fourth liner Patrick Maroon, has made Tampa Bay much more balanced. Defense, this is the only push I had. Actually, no, I got a couple of pushes here, but this is a push here. While the Islanders don't have any true stud number 1 defenseman that compare to Tampa Bay's Victor Hedman, the Isles' strength lies in their total commitment to team defense. The Isles block 18.92 shots per 60 minutes, most of any remaining team in the tournament, and are the only team left allowing fewer than 2 goals a game. Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech have reunited on the top pairing, and even trade deadline acquisition Andy Green has added value on the third pairing, forcing out Johnny Boychuk. $6 million cap hit as a healthy scratch. For the Lightning, Hedman has been an absolute force, 26 minutes average ice time a game, and has ushered in a career renaissance for partner Zach Bogosian. There are no weak links in the Lightning's top six. Ryan McDonough and Eric Chernak have been strong, while the third pairing of Kevin Shattenkirk and Mikhail Sergachev are finding their groove. Goaltending, another push here. Tampa Bay has the best goalie in this series and reigning Vezina Trophy winner and 2020 nominee Andrei Vasilevsky. The Russian leads all goalies this summer with 10 wins and just 3 losses, along with a .931 save percentage and a .191 goals against. The Islanders, meanwhile, find strength in their tandem. Varlamov has started 14 games in the postseason, going 9-4 with a goals against average of 2 and a .921 save percentage and 2 shutouts. However, he was benched in Game 7 after allowing 9 goals on 63 shots in Games 5 and 6 against the Flyers. Greece stepped in for a 16-save shutout and has a .960 save percentage and a .108 goals against in 3 appearances. Trotz's strategy this postseason: you try to ride the hot guy as long as you can, and then you go to the next guy. Coaching, I believe this is the only one I have for the Islanders. While John Cooper has led the Lightning to new heights, he'll always carry a bit of extra baggage until he can finally lead this team to a championship. Barry Trotz, meanwhile, joined the Islanders in 2018 shortly after winning a Stanley Cup in Washington, which allowed him to shed the label of good regular season coach. Trotz's team has a clear identity, total buy-in, and as Nelson said after the Game 7 win against the Flyers, he raised the level of the entire organization when he came in. Special teams, that's a push as well. Both teams have nearly identical numbers on the power play. New York is clicking at 17% in 16 games. Tampa Bay is at 17.1% at 13 games. And their penalty kills, pretty darn similar as well. New York is 82.2%, Tampa Bay at 81.3%. I agree with Tampa Bay winning this series. The Islanders have proved they're not just a defensive juggernaut. They're the only team to have emerged from the qualifying round, and they've done it thanks to their defense and productive offense. This just feels like the Lightning's time, though. Tampa Bay boasts better top-end talent, a deeper forward group, and thanks to new additions this season, enough physicality to earn a spot in the Stanley Cup final. Tampa Bay wins. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on now to our 2020 NFL season preview. And we're going to kick things off with the AFC East. And we're going to start things off with Michael Bullock, and it's only fitting because his team has owned this division for the last decade and a half. But Bullock, I think we might be in for a change this year. Wink, wink.
Or there's another saying, Florio. It could be the dawning of a new era when it comes to the this division. So, yeah, as everybody knows, right. If you haven't been paying attention, obviously, Tom Brady did not return to the Patriots for this season and has moved on to Tampa Bay. And, of course, Gronk coming out of retirement and joined them too. So, but there is a new era now, and it's Cam Newton who has joined the team. So, will it be enough for them to hold on and win another division title? We'll see. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, what can you say about them? The Buffalo, it looks like they're the team that could be winning this division. You look at one of the key acquisitions they had in the offseason, and that was acquiring Stephon Diggs to really help bolster their offense. So, and then, of course, this past week, signing Tre'Davious White to an extension, and you take a look at defensively. They look really good, especially in the secondary. Like I said, with Tre'Davious White. I think the key here is Josh Allen. Can he continue to limit the turnovers and take the next big step? That, to me, is going to be the key here. So, this is a tough call for me. But I think for the first time in a long time, I think we're going to have a new AFC East champion. And, Florio, you're going to love what I'm about to say here. Winning the AFC East, it's going to be your team, Florio. the Buffalo Bills. I got them winning the AFC East. I got the New England Patriots finishing in second place. I got the Miami Dolphins finishing in third place. I mean, I think they're heading in the right direction, but I still think they got a lot of work to do. And the same can be said for the team that I got finishing in last place, the New York Jets. So Buffalo Bills first, New England Patriots second, Miami Dolphins third, and the New York Jets fourth. So Florio, you heard it from me. I got your team winning the division. It's going to be the dawn of a new era.
You better believe it, man. How long have I been waiting for this? Too damn long. That's the answer. But yes, the 2020 NFL season might bring more predictability to the unpredictably of predicting, all this. In an unusual year of change with a virtual offseason and a vacant preseason, in some ways, it's more difficult to project what teams will make the playoffs and which teams don't. But then again, in a year when the COVID-19 pandemic is forcing the NFL to adapt to new procedures, it might favor the teams who are most established with the best ability to adjust. So let's see what happens here. And let's not forget, there's a curveball here, guys. The league expanding the playoff field from 12 teams to 14, with 7 teams each from the AFC and NFC instead of 6, with only the number 1 seed carrying the home field edge, also getting the advantage of a bye. The division and wild card races will get a little wilder. So let's keep that in mind. AFC East, the Bills rewarded Sean McDermott for strong work with a defensive-minded team, and there are now bigger offensive expectations with quarterback Josh Allen going into his 3rd season with a new number 1 wide receiver, Stephon Diggs. When examining both sides of the ball, the Bills have the few questions of any roster in the division. Everything is right in front of them to elevate from wildcard status and dethrone the Tom Brady-less Patriots. The Patriots, beyond Brady, also lost a lot defensively and still don't know whether Jarrett Stidham or Cam Newton will replace Brady, although I believe that they have said Cam Newton recently. But this is Bill Belichick, who still has a deep secondary to lift the defense and the blockers and running backs to pound out enough complementary offense. Belichick's new coaching mission will be helping his team to grind out enough wins to simply make the playoffs. The Dolphins spent a lot of money trying to accelerate their rebuild and have Tua Tagovailoa as their near-future franchise quarterback. Brian Flores' team might have to take a 1-game step back, however, before turning the corner to realize a brighter future. Getting out of last place is just as important. And the Jets? Do you really believe Adam Gase running the offense his way with his guys will yield much better results with Sam Darnold? No. Do you really trust anything they have defensively under Greg Williams without Jamal Adams? No. Darnold might save some face for them, but they're really not that good overall in relation to the other 3. So I agree with Bullock here. I got my Buffalo Bills winning our first division title in 25 years. Damn, I'm old. Oh, my God. New England Patriots will finish second, and I'll even go as far as to call them a wild card team. I got the Miami Dolphins finishing third, and I got the New York Jets in last. So there's nothing really more to say. This year is going to mark the beginning of a new era in the AFC East. And damn it to hell, I've waited long. I've waited long freaking enough, man. Enough is enough. It's time for a change. So Buffalo wins the division. First time in 25 years. Nothing more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. I got the Bills and the Patriots coming out of this division. So what says you as we wrap up the AFC East?
Well, I cannot believe I'm about to do this, but I'm going to say it. New England wins the division again. You heard me right. I'm going with the Patriots to win it all. And because of the fact is that I'm not convinced of Buffalo. I believe they're a wild card team. I think they'll get there. But Belichick is way too good and way too smart for this to happen. And because of the fact that Tom Brady is no longer there, he's going to make an emphasis that it was not his fault that all the success that the Patriots has had is not because of Tom Brady, it's because of Bill Belichick. And one man is going to be the reason why this is going to turn around. Cam Newton. That's right, the newest quarterback for the New England Patriots. He is going to come back as a renaissance guy because of the fact that a lot of people believe that he's damaged goods, that he's no longer the elite player that he used to be. And that is where the mistake is going to come in. By doubting Cam Newton's ability, by underestimating the Patriots, as usual, they use this as motivation and fire, and it's going to unleash hell on the AFC East. I'm sorry. The biggest threat is Buffalo. I don't see it. I don't see Buffalo as a division winner. I don't. Miami is a year or two away. Even though I like what they did and I like the team they got, they're going to be a lot better than they were last year. But like you said, Anthony, they're a year away. The Jets are an afterthought. They're not even relevant in the AFC East. They're pushed to the side already. But until somebody knocks off the champs, you cannot deny that this is the team that you got to watch out for. With James White, with Sony Michel, with a receiving core that's very underrated, but you still got an elite defense. Stephon Gilmore is still out there. Yes, I understand. 8 Patriot players left because of the COVID-19. They all opted out. Okay, I got you. But doesn't the Patriots always have this next man up mentality, and regardless of who doesn't be on the Patriots, that they still are at an elite level year in and year out? I'm sorry, guys. I know we would love to see the demise of the New England Patriots. I would love to see it as well. I'm not convinced. Winners of the AFC East, once again, the New England Patriots. Buffalo second, Miami third, the Jets in dead last. Florio, go.
Okay.
Whew. I don't know. As the late Regis Philbin would say, now how do you follow that? Woo.
My gosh. Well, I'll tell you how we follow that. We'll follow it up with the AFC North. And I'm going to start things off with this. So, all right. The Ravens lost only one vital player in the offseason, right guard Marshall Yanda, to retirement. They reinforced their running game with J.K. Dobbins and got more explosive options for their passing game, which is good extra support for reigning MVP dual-threat quarterback Lamar Jackson. They also continued reshuffling the defense to an improved front seven. They won't as easily win the division, but the Ravens should enjoy a comfortable repeat. The Steelers somehow managed to get to 8-8 without Ben Roethlisberger because of their elite defense led by T.J. Watt and the number one pass rush. Even with some running back, wide receiver, and tight end personnel issues to iron out, they should feel confident they can be at least 2 games better with Big Ben to make the playoffs another time with Mike Tomlin. Watch for the Cleveland Browns becoming a third playoff representative from this division, even with a 500 or a little better record. Kevin Stefanski's offensive scheming and influence will be huge on Baker Mayfield, and so will having a more diverse, balanced, and explosive attack. Defensively, with Myles Garrett up front and an improved secondary, Cleveland can find enough complementary success. The Bengals will compete harder with Joe Burrow to make this division arguably the best in the NFL. He's that good of a number 1 overall pick to build on his historic passing season at LSU and an offense tailored to his strengths. Cincinnati also invested to improve the defense, but that will remain its key liability. So I have the Baltimore Ravens winning the AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers second and a wild card team, Cleveland Browns third and another wild card team, and the Cincinnati Bengals coming up short in last. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So nothing more to say. MF, AFC North might be the best division in the game because of all the big moves that went down. Who comes out on top?
Well, I'm gonna have to say that Baltimore is definitely gonna win the division. There's no doubt about it. Pittsburgh will be the number 2 team. I think that's definitely a good enough to stay. Cleveland in 3, yeah, I'll give you that. I'm not gonna knock too much about that. With Cincinnati being in dead last, they're just gonna go through the growing pains. Now that they got the number one, now they got Joe Burrow, the number one quarterback or the number one overall pick. I just don't see how they're gonna be able to do anything really well. So yeah, I got really nothing more to add. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. I got the Baltimore Ravens winning the division. Uh, look, Lamar Jackson. Can he follow up his MVP year with another really good year? We're gonna have to wait and see. But the offense continues to look really good. The defense. What else can you say about it? And they're gonna have a huge chip on their shoulder because with them losing in the divisional round to the Tennessee Titans. So that they got some unfinished business. So the Ravens, I got them winning the division. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers finishing in second place. Uh, I think they could definitely be a wild card team. It's going to be the key is I think it's going to be Ben Roethlisberger. Can he stay healthy for a full season? We're just going to have to wait and see. The defense is there, but I think offensively is going to be something to keep an eye on. Cleveland Browns, I got finishing in third place, and then obviously dead last. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, but this is a rebuilding year for them, especially with the number one overall pick Joe Burrow. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say, Florio. Let's move on.
And we move on to the excuse me. We move on to the AFC South. MF, who wins it?
I gotta say Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna win Tennessee. I truly believe that they're the best team out there right now. I think after what happened last year, that miracle run all the way to the AFC Championship game, Tennessee never lost their core players. Tennessee locked up Ryan Tannehill long term. They locked up Derrick Henry long term. The defense is still ferocious. I truly believe the Tennessee Titans is gonna win the AFC South this year. Second, I gotta go is the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Colts are gonna go second. I think, look, I believe they rebuild pretty well. They got a decent defense, everything else. I'm really not. I really think they're gonna be fine. Third place is the Houston Texans. Look, the DeAndre Hopkins trade where he got sent to Arizona is going to come back to bite him. And I truly believe when you got a head coach like an incompetent idiot like Bill O'Brien, no, honey, no. They're going to be third. The only reason why that I think they're not going to be in last place is because as much as I love Gardner Minshew with the Jorts and everything else, the Jacksonville Jaguars is nothing but a freaking dumpster fire, to say everything. Just like their incompetent ownership, like Amir Khan, and yes, that's a shot to AEW and Tony Khan, but screw you, bite me. But I think the Jaguars are going to be in dead last. Titans first, Colts second, Houston third, the Jaguars in dead last. Bullock, it's yours.
Damn, Fletch, tell us how you really feel about the ownership group of the Jaguars. My gosh, whew, you really came out on that one, but I digress. But yeah, the tennis, especially with your take on Bill O'Brien, and let's just say nobody was more critical of him than our grand poobah himself, Derek Ferrera. So there's really nothing more to say on that. So I agree. I got to go with the Tennessee Titans to finish in first place. And like you said, I mean, they kept the core players that brought them on that miracle run that got them to the AFC Championship game, locking up Ryan Tannehill long term, Derrick Henry long term. The defense is still good. I mean, that's what I think. The Tennessee, I mean, Tennessee Titans will win the division. I got the Indianapolis Colts finishing second. I mean, I think they definitely improved at quarterback with Philip Rivers. So, and then third place, I got the Houston Texans. And like you said, that DeAndre Hopkins trade is going to come back to bite them, especially that piece of you know what, as you said, Fletch, Bill O'Brien, which I still don't understand why the hell he has a coaching job. And I'm going to be quite honest, and I don't know how you guys feel. I think Bill O'Brien should have been fired. I mean, with some of the screwy things he's done, I just still don't get how he has a coaching job. So screw you, Bill O'Brien, you piece of you know what. So, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're going to finish dead last. They're complete and utter garbage. I mean, and I'll even say this about them. They haven't been the same team ever since they lost that AFC Championship game to the Patriots. So, Titans first, Colts second, Houston Texans third, and the Jaguars fourth. And I'm going to go on the record of saying this. I think Bill O'Brien is going to get fired at some point this season. If not this season, definitely come next offseason. If he is back as coach the following season, I swear I'm going to go off on the Texans on this one. Florio, it's yours.
Oh boy. Where do I start? Oh gosh. Yeah, it's Tennessee. They went to the AFC title game with Ryan Tannehill and had their own good run-heavy formula for success with Derrick Henry. And, you know, they had that surprise run last year. There's no question they're the team to beat in this division, no doubt. Indianapolis second, I agree with that 100%. Even though Deshaun Watson remains the biggest game-changing quarterback in the division, the Colts are hoping they can revive Philip Rivers' career with Frank Reich to better complement their run-heavy approach, backed by a solid playmaking defense that now has DeForest Buckner fronting it. But it's hard to buy too much into Rivers with some key skill change around him. Yes, the Houston Texans have won 2 consecutive titles, but I've seen the 2 runners-up in the Colts and Texans go farther in the playoffs in both years. And if Houston is to win the division for a 3rd year in a row, the biggest reason for that would be Deshaun Watson. Despite big offensive change, minus DeAndre Hopkins and the defense breaking down behind J.J. Watt. And the Jaguars are seeing more of what Gardner Minshew can do and have loaded up with more gifted skill players and a better West Coast offensive tactician in Jay Gruden. The big questions are what kind of support they will get. Well, obviously, Leonard Fournette no longer there, so we're just going to, forget about that. So it's going to be Tennessee 1, and there's only one. And by the way, there's room for only one playoff team from this week division, and Tennessee is that team. Indy will finish second, Houston will finish third, Jacksonville will finish dead last. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to the AFC West. And Michael Bullock, you started off. I think we all know who's going to come out of this division, a certain team that won their first Lombardi title in 50 years.
This is an easy choice. It's your reigning, defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. I got them winning. I got them running away with this division. I mean, I just don't see any of the other teams catching up to them. The only question is who's going to finish 2 through 4. Whew, that's a tough one. But maybe my opinion will change about the Denver Broncos, especially after the big news we heard tonight that defensive captain Von Miller is likely done for the season. So like I said, Kansas City, I got them finishing first. I'm actually gonna go. I'm actually gonna go with the. Well, as far as last place, I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos in last place because I think the Von Miller injury just really hurts. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, they weren't going to be a playoff team anyway, but I think this really is going to hurt them even more now. So, second and third, wow, that's tough. But to me, I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders in second, and I'm going to go with the Chargers in third place. I mean, I just don't trust Tyrod Taylor as your starter. I mean, he's literally been up and down. That's the thing. So, Kansas City first, Las Vegas Raiders second, Chargers third, and Denver Broncos fourth. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, it's Kansas City. No doubt about it. It's their division to lose. The Chiefs won Super Bowl 54 and were able to avoid major personnel losses, paying Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, and Travis Kelce in the process. They're pretty much the team that finished last season on top of the world, only with rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire replacing Damian Williams with no Laurent Duvernay-Tardif up front. They remain a strong favorite to repeat in the AFC despite the Baltimore Ravens remaining on their heels. The Chargers are bound to rebound with how much talent they have on defense and Tyrod Taylor restoring some stability to the offense after Rivers' shaky final season with the team. Taylor can help their big playmakers shine on one side, while Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Casey Hayward, and Derwin James now get help from Linval Joseph, Kenneth Murray, and Chris Harris Jr. on defense. One or two frustrating games for Anthony Lynn's team just keep them out of the playoffs. There is plenty of buzz around Drew Lock and the Bengals, or I should say in the Broncos, rather, sorry. There is plenty of buzz around Drew Lock and the Broncos after they changed up their offense to Pat Shurmur's and brought in a slew of extra playmakers, led by Melvin Gordon in the backfield and rookie receivers Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. But Lock and the rest will take some lumps in the adjustment, while Vic Fangio's defense has a few more concerns around Von Miller. And, of course, you heard the big news about him tonight. The Raiders want to live it up in Las Vegas, but the relocation doesn't make them much better this year. Evenly matched with the two other second and last place teams. They have more offensive pop around Derek Carr, and their defense will be much better covering ground with Corey Littleton and Nick Kwiatkowski anchoring linebacker. But again, with the Chargers and Broncos having the same uptick and same challenges on the schedule behind the Chiefs, it points to the Raiders finishing in a dead heat resembling last season. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs stand alone in the AFC West. No other wildcard teams. I have the Chargers finishing second. I got the Broncos in third, and the Las Vegas Raiders finishing in last in the AFC West. So nothing more to say, MF. I mean, we're gonna see these Chiefs on Thursday night when they open up against the Houston Texans. There's no question about it. This is pretty much a two-team race in the AFC. Kansas City and Baltimore, 1A, 1B. But Kansas City right now, there's no question. After winning their first title in 50 years, I mean, there's no question they're going to be the team to beat again, and especially with Patrick Mahomes, who owns the world, and we're just paying his rent, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, Mahomie, as one of my buddies would like to call him. We're just living in his world right now. He can't do anything wrong right now. Think about this. This guy just signed the largest contract in professional sports, got his ring, and then basically got down on one knee and proposed to his high school sweetheart literally the same day that he got the Super Bowl ring. I mean, come on, man. Really? Dude, you're just living the life right now, man. Just live it up. But like we said, is there going to be a Super Bowl hangover? Maybe, possible, but still, Kansas City is going to win the division walking away. The Raiders will come second. I'm still going to give Denver third. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Mike, but the Von Miller injury. Yes, it hurts the defense bad. It does. I'm not going to deny it. But unlike some other teams, I'm not as high on the Chargers like you guys are. I got Denver 3, Chargers 4. Nothing more to add, Anthony. Let's go to the NFC.
And we start with the division that MF and I like to call the Joe Buck and Troy Aikman division, the NFC East. And the Eagles and Cowboys limped in the division race last season. The Eagles overcame injuries to win, while the Cowboys couldn't put enough together to scratch out a wild card in a top-heavy NFC. The Eagles can trust Carson Wentz to stay healthy and have more depth and youthful explosiveness around him. The Cowboys can remain prolific offensively with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott and be more aggressive to make plays in the new defense. This year, there are room for both teams in the playoffs in a more successful battle that's just as tight. The Giants have some promise with Daniel Jones, but they are faced with a brutal schedule beyond facing the Eagles and the Cowboys twice each. They are another team who's spent to upgrade defense, but it still has some transition concerns. With Jason Garrett taking over as offensive coordinator, the tempo and game plans under new coach Joe Judge will be vastly different from Pat Shurmur. Washington doesn't have a team name or a chance to be all that competitive in the division, with Ron Rivera revamping the defense and Dwayne Haskins adjusting to a new offense. Rivera's first job is cleaning up an organizational mess before he turns more attention to real improvement on the field in 2021. On the bright side, they can dominate the conversation to land Trevor Lawrence. So I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning the NFC East, Dallas Cowboys second and claiming a wild card spot, the New York Giants third, and the greatly named Washington football team. Yeah, I got them in dead last. So there's nothing more for me to say on this. So MF, who do you have winning the Joe Buck and Troy Aikman division this year?
I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to go with Dallas. I think they're going to win the division. I think, look, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, I think will get the job done. I think Philadelphia will go second. I'm going to say the Giants are I think they're just barely going to sneak to get third. And I got the Washington football team as the fourth spot. Remember, we can't call them Redskins anymore. They are the Washington football team. So, Washington football team in fourth. So, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Dallas to finish in first. I think we're definitely gonna see. Prescott and Elliott definitely improve and maybe take this team to a division title. I got the Eagles finishing in second place. I got the Giants finishing in third, and the Washington football team. What a freaking joke that team is. You got one joke in the Jaguars. Well, you got another one in the NFC with the Washington football team as another joke. They're gonna finish dead last. Especially with the mess that's going on with them, especially with their freaking owner Dan Snyder, which I still don't understand how this guy is owning the team. This guy is. I don't have a lot of nice things to say about this piece of what.
Everything that you're thinking, Michael Bullock, I exactly agree 100%, and I know Derek Ferrera would agree 100% with those sentiments. So no, don't worry, bro. You're preaching to the choir right about now.
Yeah, and as long as Daniel Snyder is owning the team, this Redskins team ain't going anywhere for a long time. Florio, go.
All right, now let's move on to the division that the great Chris Berman affectionately has always called the NFC Norris division, the NFC North. MF, who's coming out of the Norris this year?
I gotta go with Minnesota. I know a lot of people are saying Green Bay, Green Bay, Green Bay, Green Bay. Green Bay didn't really do anything, especially during the offseason. You still got an old squad. Aaron Rodgers is not getting any older, and then you actually drafted Jordan Love, who's gonna be his heir apparent. I mean, are you literally trying to show him the door? Is that how you're gonna disrespect an American hero like Florio likes to affectionately call him? Minnesota has a good defense, has one of the best running backs in the game in Dalvin Cook. Now, if Kirk Cousins can get his head out of his you-know-what, maybe the team has a really good shot, and they might win it. Detroit, I don't... Look, I love Matthew Stafford, but that team is a mess. Matt Patricia is good, but I think they're still years away. And the Bears, okay, they got so much problems with their quarterback position, it's not even funny. Mitch Trubisky, I don't think is a franchise quarterback. I'm gonna say it. They got a great defense with Khalil Mack. They got a good running game with the little man Tyree Cohen. I think, if Nick Foles is the guy, maybe. I don't know. It could go either way. They're gonna give Trubisky the start in week 1. Let's see how he does. I'm not as high on Chicago in other years. Minnesota 1. Green Bay 2. Chicago 3. Detroit 4. Now, I could flip easily between Green Bay and Chicago for 2-3. It's like that. It can go either way. But Minnesota is definitely going to win the division in my mind. And I got Minnesota in dead last. I got Detroit in dead last. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually agree with you, Fletch. I'm actually gonna go with the I'm actually gonna go with I'm actually gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings to win the division. I'm really not sold on the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, he ain't getting any younger, and you drafted a quarterback. What kind of a message are you trying to send Aaron Rodgers? Are you, like Fletch said, are you really trying to show him the door? I don't know with that. Minnesota has a good defense. You got one of the, like you said, one of the best running backs in the NFL in Dalvin Cook. The key is going to be Kirk Cousins. Can he come up big? I think he will. So yeah, I got Minnesota winning the division. I got Green Bay finishing in second place. I got the Chicago Bears finishing in third place, and I got the Detroit Lions finishing in dead last. So nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Before I get into my thoughts on all this, let me just say one thing. I will always love and appreciate Aaron Rodgers, and he will always be in my American Hero Club, no doubt about it. He was the charter member of that. Well, not quite the charter member. My first real American Hero quarterback was, and MF, you know this, Kurt Warner. And then, of course, it became Aaron Rodgers. But right now, there's a new American hero in my time right now, and that is my man Patrick Mahomes. he's the American hero right now. So, but anywho, let's get into this here. I agree. It's Minnesota. The Vikings lost to the Packers twice last season to deny themselves a division crown, something they will enjoy for the first time in 3 seasons under Mike Zimmer. They have found the ideal run-heavy offensive formula with Dalvin Cook to get the best passing from Kirk Cousins. They lost a lot of familiarity in the secondary and up front, but their constant investment in defensive depth will pay off in another strong complementary unit. The Packers' 4-game regression is tied to their overachieving from last season and facing a tougher schedule this season. Matt LaFleur's offensive identity with Aaron Rodgers won't catch up on anyone, and the Packers did not improve as much as they needed to help Rodgers. The defense will still be a backbone, but the edges of their front 3 and the middle of its second 4 are concerns. The Bears are messy right from the top with their uninspiring quarterback competition between Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky. The jury's still out on Matt Nagy, maximizing the playmaking from the rest of the offense. Defensively, losing Eddie Goldman hurts, and there remains a liability in the secondary. There will be room for only the Vikings in the playoffs here. The Lions are under pressure to come through for Coach Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, given all their aggressive scheming and spending. They should have some better results in the running game with rookie DeAndre Swift and in pass defense with rookie Jeffrey Okudah to buoy Matthew Stafford. But in this top-heavy division, it won't add up to enough wins to save Matt Patricia's job. So I agree with you guys. I have Minnesota standalone in this division. I have them as the only team coming out of the North. I have the Packers just missing in second, Chicago in third, and Detroit in last. So nothing more to say except I think now we're going to move on to what will, without question, be perhaps the most compelling 2-team divisional race in the NFC, and that is in the NFC South. Of course, you know the New Orleans Saints will still be there, but you also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Michael Bullock, as I started with you, why do we say Tampa Bay? Oh, not much, because, oh, by the way, they got your 2 old friends, not just Rob Gronkowski, but your all-time franchise quarterback, who I know you will always love, in the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Yeah, first off, I need to make this loud and clear to everybody, and I know you two will agree with me on this. I will always love Tom Brady, no matter what. He will always be a Patriot for life as far as I'm concerned with what he did during his 20 years here. So, so much so, even a place that we know, guys, that the Dublin Rose is going to turn it into a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan zone whenever Patriot games aren't being played at the same time. Now that's class there. So I'm always going to be a Tom Brady fan for life, and I still will be, even though he is with another team. And the same goes for Gronk as well. So I just want to get that off my chest. If any Patriot fan wants to come after me and say, "Oh, how can you still love him after he left us for Tampa Bay?" You know what? You got a problem with that? Screw you guys. So, enough said. This is going to be a compelling division that's definitely going to be worth watching. I think it's going to come down to the Buccaneers and the Saints, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, when it comes to this division, as much as I like the additions from Tampa Bay, with them becoming a possible contender, until I see otherwise, I still got to ride with the New Orleans Saints here. You still got Drew Brees. You got probably one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, and Drew Brees. You got the best running back in the NFL, and Michael Thomas. I mean, yeah. I mean, so until I see otherwise, I gotta go with the Saints to win the division. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I got them finishing in second place. As far as who I got finishing in in third place, yeah. Hold on a second here. It's gonna come down, like you said, to the. I think I got the Carolina Panthers finishing in dead last, and as far as third place, I'm trying to remember who the. Oh, I got the Atlanta Falcons finishing in third place. So New Orleans Saints first place, Tampa Bay Buccaneers second, Atlanta Falcons third. Yeah, excuse, and Carolina Panthers fourth. Florio, it is yours.
Very tough.
So yeah, and like I said, Tom Brady will always love him no matter what.
And the same for Gronk as well. So
yeah, damn right on that. And if people got a problem with that, you know what? Screw you guys.
okay, all right. Hopefully that'll be enough with the rants for this evening. But anyways, very tough. I mean, I do agree. Atlanta will finish third and Carolina will finish last. There's no doubt about this. This is a two-team division. It's between New Orleans and Tampa. I mean, many of times I have made a tremendous mistake, and that tremendous mistake has always been buying into the hype of a new team, of an exciting new team. About a year or so ago, I did that with the Cleveland Browns. I think it might have been last year, I think, where I bought into the hype of the Cleveland Browns, and look what happened. They made me look like an idiot. So, even though I am very high on Tampa, absolutely, I still have to go with New Orleans, though. I agree with Bullock. I mean, would I be surprised if Tampa won the division? Absolutely not. But the Saints, okay, the run at their division titles could end at 3. It could. But they're too talented and too motivated in what could be Drew Brees' final season to be denied one more shot at a second Super Bowl with him and Sean Payton. The offense will be more dynamic with Emmanuel Sanders and a healthy Alvin Kamara. The defense remains sturdy with Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, and a strong secondary. The Saints, quote-unquote, regressed to their record from 3 years ago, but are still right there in the tournament with the Bucs. Tom Brady, well, he'll get his sweet revenge in leading the Buccaneers to a 5-game improvement and maybe a division title, but I think it's more of a wild card. It's not simply Brady magic. The Bucs are loaded with more in the passing game with Rob Gronkowski, return the number one run defense with Ndamukong Suh, and a booming pass rush led by Shaquille Barrett. And let's also not forget, they just added Leonard Fournette to their running game as well. Bruce Arians has guided multiple teams to the playoffs before and will make the right adjustments to lift Brady into another postseason. The Falcons have faith in Dan Quinn, and he's a well-organized coach who can help them get more out of their defense. The offense needs more real balance versus Dirk Cutter's pass-happy ways for Matt Ryan, something they need to get with better run blocking and the running of Todd Gurley. Atlanta has a feel of a classic up-and-down team now dealing with two better all-around powers in its own division. The Panthers found a good Cam Newton replacement in Teddy Bridgewater, and there's optimism about the leadership and scheming of Matt Rule, Joe Brady, and Phil Show. But with familiars such as Newton, Greg Olsen, Ryan Khalil, Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, Julius Peppers, and James Bradbury long gone, they are asking for the superstar power of Christian McCaffrey to carry a lot in a new offense. That's before getting to a new look, rebuilding defense that will take more lumps than make big plays. So I have the New Orleans Saints winning the NFC South barely. Tampa Bay right behind as a wild card team. Atlanta finishes third, and Carolina finishes fourth. So MF, are we going to make it unanimous, or are you going to buy into that Tampa hype?
New Orleans wins the division. Tampa comes in 2. Carolina, Atlanta is 3. Carolina 4. No, I'm not going to buy into the hype of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because of the fact that I still believe that it's all about the Who Dat Saints. So New Orleans wins the division.
All right. And with that, we will move into our final division of the night. And that division will be the NFC West. And here we go. Let me see. Okay. The Seahawks were on the brink of beating out the 49ers for the division title and better playoff position in 2019. They finished the job this year with Russell Wilson further raising his game with Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and now Greg Olsen. He can lean on the mighty power running he once had with Marshawn Lynch, an element that's back again without Lynch. They can pound it and throw it deep at a high level offensively, and with their linebackers and secondary, are starting to have that old Legion of Boom look defensively for Pete Carroll. The 49ers will have a mild Super Bowl hangover, but staying in NFC playoff position. They will recover nicely from trading Buckner defensively and also replacing Sanders offensively with a reliable formula for Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan. They don't have many personnel changes or any schematic ones, but there's enough to allow the Seahawks to overtake them, I think. The Rams always are dangerous because of Sean McVay's coaching and their Super Bowl experience, but now he must operate his offense without Gurley and Brandon Cooks, trying to find sources of explosiveness to boost the leveled off Jared Goff. Defensively, in between Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, there are enough issues to limit LA to around 500 or a little better. The Cardinals might be a stronger playoff contender in any other division, but the NFC West can claim the title of the best over the AFC North. Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury are the headline of their year two offensive-related buzz with help from DeAndre Hopkins, but the upgrades defensively led by Isaiah Simmons are also promising. It would be surprised no one if all four teams were tighter around 10 or 9 wins and the order of finish being shuffled in one of the many other possible ways. But for right now, I'm actually going to go with Seattle to win the NFC West. San Francisco right behind as another wild card team. I got the Rams finishing third, and I have Arizona finishing last. So that's all there is to say. MF, I mean, we have a two-team race with New Orleans and Tampa in the South. I think we have another such with Seattle and San Fran. But watch out for the Rams, though.
That's right. No, you're right. You're right. There's no doubt about it. I'm gonna say this. I disagree that Seattle wins the division, even though I think they're really good, and I love Russell Wilson. Love Russell Wilson. DK Metcalf is a rising star in the NFL. He's going to become one of the premier wide receivers in the game, no doubt about it. I think he's going to get it. He's going to get an opportunity very soon to really shine. But I got to go with the Niners. The Niners, I just don't think that they got a hangover. Look, do I think that they're going to be better than they were a year ago? Possible they might stumble a little bit, but this is still a dangerous team. Niners win the division. Seattle is in second. Zona will be in last, and the Rams will be in third. So Niners, Seahawks, Rams, and then the Cardinals. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Niners to win the division. I mean, you know that they're still reeling from that Super Bowl loss, and you know they're gonna be fired up to hopefully get back there. So we'll wait and see on that. But I mean, the Seahawks are good, but I just don't think they're gonna be right there with. I mean, they'll hang with them, but I just don't see them winning it. So I got the 49ers and for winning the division. I got the Seattle Seahawks finishing in second place. I got the Rams finishing in third place. And then, yeah, the Arizona Cardinals are going to finish dead last. So, nothing more to say. I say it's time to move on to our first pick of the 2020 NFL season.
Yes, sir. Last order of business this evening. And we are going to put in our first pick of this 2020 NFL season. quick announcement before we do that, and that is my Strictly Sports ESPN Pigskin Pick'em League is up and running, and I haven't checked it in a couple of days. I do know Michael Bullock is in it. I saw you there, Bullock.
And I already made my picks.
Good for you. That's great to hear. MF, what's it? MF,
I'm in. I'm in.
Good for you.
I'm in as well, and I've already made my picks.
Well done, my friends. All right, that's good to hear. I don't have to chase you around. That's good. But we'll see if anybody else joins. I will send out messages and posts on my Facebook page for anybody who's interested. You can drop me a message if you want, and we'll hammer out all the details. But I'm hoping for a decent turnout this year. So, but you got the three of us. You think you can do better than the three of us? Well, that's our challenge. We're issuing a challenge. Can you top the three of us? We'll wait and see. One year, somebody outside of this group did, and I'm impressed. We were all impressed. But one of us did win last year. So, but we'll see what happens. But we're gonna make our first pick, and we're gonna do it for the game that will take place this Thursday night, 8:20 kickoff on NBC. The opening game of the NFL season, and unlike the one-time exception we had a year ago for NFL 100, we're going to kick off the 101st NFL season the way we used to kick it off, with your reigning defending Super Bowl champions. That team, of course, being the Kansas City Chiefs. Banner night. The banner will go up at Arrowhead Stadium. There will be limited fans in attendance, so that's a little bit of some encouragement, even though it's not going to be the big sellout that we all want, but at least we're going to have some fans there, so that's good. Your Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, they'll be opening up against the Houston Texans, Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. The legendary Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, they'll all be on hand with the NBC crew. Kansas City opening up as a 9-point favorite. That's no big surprise there. The regular season series is tied 5 games apiece, 5-5. Last year, week 6, they met in Kansas City, and Houston won that game by a score of 31-24. Of course, 3 months later in January, they met in a divisional playoff game that MF and I are still scratching our heads over, because we thought KC was dead in the water. We thought they were dead to rights when they fell behind 24-0. But man, 51 consecutive points. You only see stuff like that in the Madden games, for goodness sakes. I mean, unreal. Kansas City won 51-31, and of course, you know that incredible run they had, coming back from 24 down to beat Houston, and then coming back from 10 down to beat Tennessee in the AFC Championship, and then that coming back from 10 down in the fourth quarter, nonetheless, to beat San Francisco in the Super Bowl. So Kansas City winning their first title in 50 years. So there are all your matchups. KC by 9, regular season series tied at 5. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. This is the Tony and Mikey special. This is how we do it in week 1. We always go where the champ goes. As long as it's an AFC team. If it's an NFC team, we don't do it. But if it's an AFC team, which it is here, then we do it. We're going to have it. Houston, Kansas City. Are we going to have the same fireworks that we saw in January? Hello, friend.
I do not even know, Anthony. I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. How's these teams going to react right at the very beginning? Remember, this is the first legit game that both teams are going to play, because there was no preseason. So they didn't really have any opportunity to practice or have any live competition against each other. So I'm going to say it. The first quarter of this game, maybe the first half of the game, could be a complete and utter mess. We could have a cluster you-know-what in the first half. So I don't think you're going to see anything exciting. The second half, maybe we'll get something out of the way. I think they're going to need a game or two before they really get into things. So don't expect this to be a high-scoring affair. Don't expect any explosive stuff's happening. I do believe Kansas City will win, and my final score is 21-17. I don't think it's going to be as incredible of a game because, like I said, both teams have not played at all. They haven't had an opportunity to get any preseason in, so all these guys are going to be cold as heck. But I do believe Kansas City will find a way to win. You cannot lose on Banner Night. You can't. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I gotta go with Kansas City as well. I mean, I think this is going to be an interesting game because, like you said, Fletch, there was no preseason, and this is the first time they're going to be in an actual game. So I think the first quarter, maybe first half, could be very telling. But I got Kansas City winning this one. I just don't see them losing on Banner Night. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, make it unanimous. It's going to be Kansas City. No question about it. They're 9 to 9.5 point favorites, and we know it's not going to be the party that the Chiefs hoped it would be, with only about 20% of Arrowhead Stadium's capacity filled with Kansas City faithful. But it should still come with the desired result. The Chiefs lost almost nothing from their Super Bowl winning roster, and while the Texans remain somewhat competitive on the strength of Deshaun Watson's brilliance, they still don't stack up. And that's really all there is, to say on that. And I expect a fairly big game for Patrick Mahomes. Now, the first game of the season is the AFC game of the week, with Houston losing DeAndre Hopkins offensively and having a few more defensive issues. It is expected to slide from true AFC title contention this season, especially after two other teams in the division, Indianapolis and Tennessee, went further in the playoffs the past 2 years. Kansas City avoided a free agent exodus and took care of both Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones. There will be extra energy in Arrowhead, even without the typical crowd noise, with the Chiefs feated as Super Bowl champions and eager to repeat as considerable favorites to do so. There will be no big comeback necessary this time, as Mahomes picks up where he left off and puts Deshaun Watson in futile catch-up mode. 42-24, Kansas City over Houston. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So with all that being said, all right, gentlemen, that's it. We're done for the night. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in this evening. Busy season continues. It continues tomorrow night over on good old MF Michael Fletcher's channel, Brace Fan 95, as we will have Wednesday Night Mayhem, another loaded show. We're going to be recapping the AEW All Out pay-per-view, tonight's edition of NXT, and tomorrow night's edition of AEW Dynamite, The Fallout from the All Out pay-per-view. And then Thursday night at 10:30, it's going to be a very short edition of a very short season premiere of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. Sorry to say, it's going to be a very small docket. There's only 6 top 25 games. I looked into it. And it's going to be that way, I'm afraid, for at least the first 2 weeks. It should pick up right around the 4th week or so. So I looked into it. So 6 games on that docket. None of them really scream excitement. But we're still going to talk about it anyway. So that show shouldn't last too long. Friday night at 10:30, MF will be back with you for the Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll review Friday Night SmackDown. Can SmackDown have another great week after that incredible show they had last week? We'll have to find out. And then Saturday night will be the season premiere of NFL Saturday, as we will preview the remaining games of Week 1 with a lot more stats and numbers this time around. I'll have a more detailed note package, so I'm very grateful for that. So I can't wait to share that all with you. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, Edie Woodson, and always and forever, Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Wednesday, and until tomorrow night, for Wednesday Night Mayhem, people watching this special edition of Strictly Sports right here on Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.